Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. A couple of things before we get started. I know I always mention them, but they're important. First of all, the Giants Baseball 101 Facebook group is waiting to get some members, so please join that. Also, please keep up with me at Last Word on Sports. The site's LWOsports.com, and just click on MLB. Actually, I've posted the link to that site in the description box today, so you can access it from there. But pretty much all the Giants articles are mine. I've also written one about the relationship between scouting and analytics, and there will be one coming about new rules for MLB. There are also some articles by me just kind of about the state of the game of baseball in general, and there are plenty of really good articles by other authors as well. So you'll want to think of checking out that site. Well, the Giants have signed catcher Roberto Perez to a minor league deal. Looking at their opening day roster prediction, by the way, a new one came in. I mentioned their previous opening day roster prediction, but they've got an updated one now on their website, and according to this one, Roberto Perez is ahead of Austin Wynns, so maybe Wynns is going to get a little bit buried there as far as who's in line to be the backup catcher. But this new update, this new guess on who's going to be on the opening day roster, it's interesting to have it updated here, and we'll have to see if they go with, because Austin Wynns, Roberto Perez, they're both veterans, and it might just come down to performance and spring training thing. Still looks like Joey Bart is set to be the starting catcher, but like I've mentioned before, if they would put Bart in as the designated hitter and have either Wynns or Perez, whoever makes the team, actually have him as the starting catcher and then just put Bart in the DH spot, I think that might be the best thing for Bart at this point in his career. Now, what kind of a guy Bart is as far as, being positively affected by being in the DH spot, I don't know. So it really is just a guess that would be the best thing for him at this point in his career, but we'll see. It doesn't look like it's going to be that way, unfortunately. Jock Peterson and Camilo Doval will be playing in the World Baseball Classic, so we'll see how that goes. And another interesting piece of information is that Logan Webb's come and kind of spoken out about the season. He says he thinks the Giants are going to be good and more like the 107 win team that they were in 2021. He was a part of that, pitched very well, particularly in the second half. And he says, I'm not saying we're going to win 107 games, but we're better than the 500 team that we were in 2022. And honestly, if the Giants could have just been a little bit better in 2022, there is a 6th wild card spot now. And if they could be like a little bit better and grab that spot, I guess we'd just be hoping that they'd have some kind of clutch performance in the postseason, because anything can happen there, and some of it is clutch for a team. So, you're like, if the Giants, even if the Giants were kind of barely sneak in or whatever in 2023, and they could be great, I'm not being a pessimist here, I'm just saying if they barely snuck in, I guess we would be hoping for just some clutch thing in the postseason, and then yes, it would be a scary thought to play the Dodgers again, but they have to cross that bridge when they come to it and get there first. Now on to the bullpen. I've been doing my reading about, to give myself an update on the Giants, and it's looking like they are likely to give opportunities to prospect relief pitchers. Luke Jackson is not expected to be back until June, so that leaves them with, a couple of months with still a decision to be made as far as his spot goes. They do have Taylor and Tyler Rogers, and, John Brebbia, I think he's going to be back, and obviously Doval is the closer, so it's not like they're without arms, but I'm just not exactly sure what to think about giving prospect relief pitchers, this opportunity at this kind of critical time, because it's not like we really I don't think we can really trust the Giants' prospect. At least in recent times, it hasn't been like, for the most part, it hasn't been like they can contribute immediately and just kind of impress immediately and all that. And there are a few prospect relievers that just, hearing they're going to be relying on them is, well, it gives me some doubts just because of kind of the Giants' recent history with prospect. So I guess you just ask, like, how are things going to look? How's that going to turn out? And I don't know, it's something we're going to have to see because the bullpen, it really was an issue for the Giants at times in 2022. There are some things that, there are some things that just can't happen. Like, particularly, I'm thinking, I always bring this up, this series against the Dodgers right before the trade deadline. It was like 3 games, I think, at least 3. It was because the bullpen blew it in that 4-game sweep. So there are things that just cannot be repeated in 2023. So now, as far as how it's going to turn out, I do think that relying on these prospect relievers to be on the roster and contribute is different from relying on them in the most critical key situations, these key runners-on tie game situations in a ball game. I do think there's a difference here. And like I mentioned, it does seem like they have, for the most part, experienced relievers, at least as far as the late innings go. But still going to have to figure something out for the 5th and 6th innings when it does become necessary to bring relievers in those. But so yeah, I think that relying on relievers to contribute is different from relying on them in the most key critical situations when they have to pitch out of jams. And at the end of the day, I think we're just going to have to see what happens. And I believe that Scott Alexander's coming back. He was a guy, I wanted opportunities to be given in 2022, and they were. He pitched well, so I believe he's coming back in 2023. Again, I can't remember everybody they released, everybody that's a free agent, but I think Alexander will be back, and yes, I do think that he deserves opportunities, especially against left-handed hitters when you see maybe even top left-handed hitters, honestly, coming up. And then considering the condition of the Giants roster, just along with the fact that a lot of their problem is just being able to maximize those late-game opportunities, crucial situations, that they're not only crucial situations, but they're also opportunities for the Giants to win, I can still say with confidence that I think it would benefit them to add Terrence Gore to their roster, that huge anomaly in baseball, that speedster, that really career pinch runner. As far as I can tell, he hasn't signed with anybody else. But, I think the Giants are in kind of a unique situation because the thing with their roster is that they're really lacking on superstar talent, but their roster has just kind of a unique, unusual depth to it. They're not short at all on solid players. And that has a number of implications. But what about with this whole pinch running idea thing? Does the depth of their roster have any implication there? Well, yeah, I believe it does, because if they sign a player like Terrence Gore to pinch run for them in late game situations, it makes sense, first of all, to have him as a 26th man on their roster because, well, they already have depth with the other 25 spots. Then, if they take a guy out to send him, like, say, in the 8th or 9th inning, okay, we'll make it the 8th. 7th, let's make it the 7th or 8th because it's clear they're going to have to find a way to replace the guy they take out. That's really the point of the depth on their roster. The guy that comes off the bench, he might be just about as good. The whole point anyway is that they have a ton of players who are not going to be much worse than league average and some slightly above, at least that's the projection. So I think that has implications for the idea of signing Terrence Gore. It's not like they're likely to take an irreplaceable superstar out, send him into pinch run for him. And the guys they do take out, because of the depth of their roster, wouldn't they be likely to be replaceable? I mean, I'm just saying, if David VR, let's say, I don't know his actual sprint speed, and I know you kind of want to maximize the gain in speed on a pinch runner by having him pinch run for the slowest players on your roster, but let's say he did pinch run for David VR because Gore is faster than just about anyone. Wilmer Flores, I believe Flores can play third base, and he'd deliver a solid bat. So that's the thing the Giants are going to have going for them. In every game, well, I don't know in every game, what if there's injury, what if there's whatever, but they can reasonably expect in most games to have a bench that can provide quality that's pretty close to what their starting lineup can. That could include platoons if they can just kind of find a way to maximize lefty-righty matchups, but their bench can provide a lot that's close to what their starting lineup can. I think that's going to be one of the positive consequences of the Giants having such a deep roster there. So, and that I think just really lends itself to using kind of unique late inning strategies, one-run strategies to try to break a tie or to even score a run when they're like one run behind and come back, give themselves another opportunity. So that, as of right now, is the Giants' current situation. And again, starting pitching, they've got really a lot of starting pitchers. Wanted to give one more idea, of a player they could. We were talking about the bullpen. If they reunited with Reyes Maranta, the relief pitcher was so dominant for them in 2018, and then he kind of got injured and all that. He signed a minor league deal with the Rangers, but teams don't hold on to their minor league signings too tightly. It's really the tool, his electric fastball, combined with his dominating slider that I'm looking at. So he had a 4.30 ERA in 2022 for the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, but it's the tool I'm looking at and just kind of the hope that he'll bounce back if the Giants got him, and he'd still be on a minor league deal if they could find a way to trade for him and get him cheaply, in a way that's not giving up too much, in a way it's going to work. It might be kind of a risk. It might be an investment worth taking. And again, having a guy on your team is not the same thing as saying he has to pitch in the most critical situations. So I'm just saying they probably do have options to at least give this a shot. Again, I don't know what they would have to give up to get him, but it's really the tool with Maranta that I'm looking at here, the fastball and slider, and how it can be dominating here. So as of right now, those are all the ideas. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Giants Baseball 101 if you haven't. Also, you know where to leave comments. Please keep up with those, and I will try to answer any questions you might have. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.